Well, it happened. I have now read the most upsetting, haunting, painful, horrific, disturbing story I have ever experienced. It left me speechless and staring at the wall for a while after I finished it. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. My pronouns are she, her. The book is called You Were Not Meant to Be Human. It was written by Andrew Joseph White, and I believe it came out in 2024. This is the story of Crane. Crane is a 22-year-old autistic, mute, trans male who has become indoctrinated into a cult that worships a hive-being made up of worms and flies. Wow, that sounds pretty intense. And that's not even the intense part. When Crane unbelievably becomes pregnant, he thought the T-shots would end any chance of such things. The hive demands he carry it to term and give it to them. The misery this causes Crane is horrific. The pain and sorrow and hopelessness that lives inside this young man is so beyond heartbreaking. Crane doesn't like himself, okay, at all. He thinks he deserves pain and mutilation, so much so that he dreams of it. Even in high school, he dreamed of setting himself on fire. He wants things to hurt him. He thinks it's what he deserves. The story is told in third person limited, so while it's not Crane telling the story from his perspective using the pronoun I, we still only see inside his head and only know what he knows. And he made me so uncomfortable when he kept dead naming himself and using she, her pronouns. I mean, I understand it was part of his punishment for himself. Before he was Crane, he had won 2 championships for public speaking. He was popular and smart. He had so many options for college. His parents were proud of him and loved him. And when he became Crane, it was a 180. Now, my theory is that his autism was what allowed him to focus so well on how to perform as he felt his parents and his school wanted him to. To be the best student, to be the most award-winning thinker. Meanwhile, the whole time, all he wants is to stop talking altogether and live as a boy. So when we meet him, he's thinking of the hive as his savior. It accepts him as he is. It tells him he is correct as he is, and it gives him purpose. He works at the gas station where the hive lives, and he does its bidding as needed, and that will include anything that it wants, including murder. Crane is also in an abusive yet consensual physical relationship with Levi, who is loyal to the hive. Crane wants to be hurt, and Levi hurts him. But it's more that Levi wants to hurt Crane, and Crane happens to like it. I'm not so sure Levi would care one way or the other. When they're first together, Crane writes down a message for him, and it says, "Get me pregnant, and I will kill myself." Not, I'll kill you, I'll hurt you, I'll be mad at you, you'll be in trouble. No, this is what I will do to me. I cannot survive that situation, is basically what Crane is saying. Rating. And then he's pregnant. And the dysphoria that follows as a result of that and the changes of his body goes through is just so devastating. It's painful. It's horrifying. Things change, and Levi, along with Stagger, who's an even more loyal to the Hive cult member, are now keeping Crane safe, mostly from himself. He's still able to hurt himself. He figures out a few ways, but he's not able to actually hurt the pregnancy. It was so devastating Now I listened to it, so that could have colored my experience a bit. I felt like I could literally hear Crane begging the universe to take this fetus away, wishing and begging that he could have an option, any option to get rid of it. He dreams of medication-free procedures. He'll just grit his teeth and get it out. But none of those things are an option. And there's nothing he can do. He just has to wait. Just wait it out. Wait for it to be out and give it to the hive and get the hell out of Dodge. At least that's his plan. But the end of this book was jaw-dropping. I couldn't have ever seen how it ended up going at all. I mean, at all. From Crane's thoughts about the baby to the actions that he takes after it's born, staggeringly shocking. Things I could not even have begun to imagine. And White sold it. I believed it. A shocking ending that I absolutely believed. This... Speechless. See? Just speechless. The devastation and living inside that brain of somebody who is so miserable inside their own skin was so visceral and painful. It was really one of the most disturbing book. Well, certainly the most disturbing book I've read in a very long time. I think, I mean, if you watch my channel, you know full well that I am a very big advocate of the pride community, of the queer community. And I'm not trans. I do love some people that are trans. And to think that some of this could have been going on in their heads is just, it's just so heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. And now this may not be the most devastating book for you. I know everybody has, the things that upset them the most. And this is definitely something that sort of hit really, really close to the things that are important to me. So I think that's why I've been so devastated by this book. The author is trans, so I felt like we were in a really good, safe place to read about this. And I just wanted to say one last thing. When I was reading it, almost the entire time I was reading it, I did not like the title, You Were Not Meant to Be Human. And when I got to the very, very end, I realized who that sentence is for. That message, you were not meant to be human, who that message is actually being said to. And now I really like the title. But it took me reading the entire book. I mean, I was 95% of the way through and still didn't like the name. And now I get it and I'm cool with it. I think it's very, very awesome. But for a while there, I was just like, how dare you say that this poor, this trans kid isn't meant to be human? But that's not who, I really believe that's not who that message is for. So I highly recommend checking this book out. If you are, be prepared for devastating feelings of self-hatred and misery inside one's own skin. But there's also this worm fly worshipping cult that is taking control of people, and the way that they live inside this cult and the way that the hive controls them is a big part of the story. So even though it is this devastating look at being uncomfortable in your own skin, there's also this horrifying horror story that's going on, throughout. So I recommend you check it out. Don't forget, you are precious and important. Tomorrow needs you. Tomorrow will always need you.